Hello mathematicians, and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to learn how to use non-standard measurement to measure different objects. Make sure you have your tools ready. You're going to need about 10 foam tiles, a pair of student scissors, and a glue stick. Ready? Let's go. First, we need to know, why are we going to learn this information? So first, learning about non-standard units of measurement is going to help us understand how rulers work once we get into that and learn it a little bit more deeply. Second, so that we can measure length without a ruler. We'll use measurement all throughout our daily lives, and sometimes you just don't have a ruler around, so it really helps to be able to know how to use these non-standard units to help solve those problems. Before we start measuring, we need to learn 2 new vocabulary words. The first, you might already know, is length, and that just means how long something is. For example, the length of this pencil is how long this pencil is. Non-standard units are just objects that aren't found on a ruler. So inches, feet, centimeters, yards, miles, all of those are standard units, not non-standard. What we're talking about today is anything that is not on a ruler. Today, for our video, we're going to be using paper clips to measure, and also those foam tiles that you gathered. Now, there are 3 rules for measuring any type of unit, non-standard or standard. And the first one is you have to make sure that all the units are the same size. Second, you have to make sure that you line up your units with the edge of what you're trying to measure, just like a starting line. And last, you need to make sure that your units sit end to end with no overlap and no gaps. So for this part, just put your tools down and watch and listen to how I think through solving this problem. And then on the next one, you'll get to work with me and we'll use our tools. So look at this marker that I've measured with my paper clips. The first thing that I need to do is make sure all my paper clips are the same size. Are they? Yep, they sure are, so I did that correctly. Next, I needed to make sure that I lined up the first paper clip with the edge of the marker, just like a starting line. Looks like they're lined up right at the edge. You should be able to draw a line right down to connect the edge of what you're measuring with the edge of your first unit. And then last, are my paper clips lined up, sitting edge to edge without overlapping and without any gaps or spaces? They sure are, so it looks like I've done it correctly. And I'm ready to count the number of paper clips to find out how many paper clips long this marker is. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This marker is 5 paper clips long. Awesome. Now let's do one together. Go ahead and get your scissors and your foam tiles ready. First, we need to make sure all of our units are the same size. They are, because we're using all the same tiles. Next, I need to make sure that I line up the first unit at the edge. Now, these scissors look a little tricky because one side, the handle, has 2 different sizes. So I'm going to start measuring at the cutting part because that looks a little simpler to line it up. So I'm lining it up just like a starting line. Go ahead and do that with yours too. Next, I need to make sure that my units touch end to end with no gaps and no overlaps. So I'm going to line up my tiles. You go ahead and do it with yours too. And finally, we're ready to count and see how many tiles long these scissors are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These scissors are 5 tiles long. Are you ready to try one on your own? Okay. So for this glue stick, I want you to work either on your own or with a partner and use your tiles to measure it. Make sure you follow all the rules. Pause the video, and when you're ready, come back and hit play, and we'll look at the answer together. All right, are you ready to check your work? Let's see how you did. First, make sure all of our tiles are the same size. They are. Next, we're going to line up the first unit right at the edge there, just like a starting line. And last, we're going to make sure our units touch end to end with no gaps. Now, there's a little tiny bit of that glue stick hanging off the end, but that's okay because whenever we're doing non-standard measurement, it's not going to be perfect, but we're going to get it as close as we can. And that is these tiles are as close as we can get to the right measurement. So how many tiles was it? 1, 2, 3, 4. If you got 4 tiles as your answer for your glue stick, awesome job. All right, mathematicians, now you know how to measure the length of anything using non-standard units. Great job, and good luck problem solving.